we do not yet know enough about this virus. We know it is in the same family as some very dangerous viruses like SARS and also some mild viruses. But what we do know to date is that only through prolonged exposure can someone contract this virus. It is not a situation as with some other diseases where a single contact would be enough. So it's really important for New Yorkers to understand that based on what we know right now, it's important to just go about your lives, continue living as you have, because there is no indication that casual contact with someone who is infected could lead to others contracting this disease.
Mayor, you said that it doesn't appear this is transmitted person to person through casual contact, but the commissioner said it's unclear exactly how it's transmitted person to person. So can you just clarify a little bit?
I'll start and the commissioner will give you a lot more expertise. But again, we know there are diseases that can be contracted with one brief interaction. This does not appear to be that based on what we know so far. It seems to take more prolonged exposure person to person.
Just sort of clarify, you're not telling anyone to not go out in public. There's going to be Lunar New Year celebrations. Go ahead with all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so what I said was we want New Yorkers to go about their daily lives. We want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a happy Lunar New Year.
Yes, people should enjoy the Lunar New Year. I'm going to be participating myself. I want to urge everyone to be part of those celebrations as they always are. My message to New Yorkers, first of all, for the vast majority of New Yorkers, the most important thing to recognize is this issue is being addressed. It's being addressed by the federal government. It's being addressed by the city government, which has the strongest public health apparatus in the nation. People should be very clear about what this disease is and what it isn't. And New Yorkers, I always say, are not intimidated easily. New Yorkers should go about our lives, continue doing what we do normally. You can rest assured there will be constant updates on the situation. We understand some things about this disease. As I said, others are still unclear. But what is clear is the only way you get it is with substantial contact with someone who already has it. You don't get it from a surface. You don't get it from glancing or very temporary contact based on what we know now.
As much as coronavirus has caused tremendous concern, and for good reason, the manifestation of it for the vast majority of people ends up feeling like what most healthy people go through when they have the flu or a cold. For the vast majority of people, it is something you ride out with some basic medications. It resolves, and you're able to go back to your life. For the vast majority of people who even do end up contracting coronavirus, the impact will be limited. So again, want to come back to this point. Occasional contact, glancing contact, temporary contact does not, from everything we know about coronavirus, lead to transmission. It needs to be prolonged, if not intimate, at least prolonged constant contact. I continue to tell all New Yorkers to go on with your lives, go on with your business. What we do understand, you cannot contract it through casual contact, so the subway is not the issue. The train is not the issue. The issue is prolonged, consistent contact. As you might have, first and foremost, in a home, that is the number one area of concern. Here's home, here's subway, okay? Home is the issue. Home is the problem, where you're in constant, regular, intense contact with other people, breathing the same air, the same bodily fluids around, like that's the issue. Subway is the other extreme, limited contact in a more open space, short period of time. Subway's not our problem right now. Home is our problem.
World Health Organization continues to say this disease is less transmittable than the flu. The big picture point, I'll keep saying it, we do know this for a fact, over 80% of the folks who get it have very mild symptoms, very mild experience, and the vast majority of folks, even who have more serious outcomes, still end up seeing it through. What we're doing that I think is helping is telling people the facts very transparently and reminding people that life is going on in New York City. And I've been plenty of places in the city in the last few days where life looks pretty normal.
I know that there is a lot of misinformation out there, so as the mayor has done consistently, I think it is important that we urge the public to be guided by fact and not by misinformation, not by fiction. You can still ride the subway. I did it today from Union Square down to City Hall. You can still go to school. There are plenty of young people who are in our schools today. You can still go to work. New Yorkers are still working all throughout the 5 boroughs, and you can still go enjoy a concert or a basketball game. It's important that we get out there. Important to update the public and provide them, as we have been doing, as the mayor has been doing, every day with transparent, accurate, fact-based, science-based, sober information that people can use to deal with their concerns. And then lastly, one final thing. Last night, my boyfriend and I went to dinner in Chinatown on Bayard Street to one of my favorite restaurants, Deluxe Greenbow, and we had some soup dumplings, and it was great. The thing that wasn't great is that a lot of the restaurants were empty in Chinatown. And we have been seeing this in Flushing, in Sunset Park, in Chinatown. We have been seeing anti-Asian bias incidents happen throughout the city. We have even been seeing anti-Semitism directed at Orthodox New Yorkers. It is unacceptable. It is not based on science or by fact. We will not tolerate it here in New York City. We will be guided by public health professionals, by the mayor and his team, by the governor and their teams. That's what we will do. We will not put up with people discriminating against New Yorkers based off of prejudicial, incorrect information, and it's important that we continue to say that over and over again. We are better than that. We are the greatest city in the world, and it's time for us to show it in the midst of this crisis that we're going through. 99% of New Yorkers have been showing that, but for the 1% of New Yorkers that are behaving this way, stop it. It's unacceptable. We won't put up with it. It's not the way to get through this crisis. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Speaker. I couldn't agree with you more, and thank you for that rightfully passionate statement. Yeah, we're just not going to I want to amplify it. We're not going to accept any discrimination. There are real consequences. Some forms of discrimination are illegal, and you will feel the consequences of it. But I think the best thing we can all do is remind people, keep going about your lives, keep going out and patronizing those businesses. We'll tell you the second we think you should change your behavior. Again, we're constantly communicating here, but right now, go about your business. This is a disease that requires a very direct level of contact. The question of surfaces has come up a lot. The best understanding of our public health officials is that this is a disease that does not live long on a surface. Certainly on most surfaces like metal, plastic, a desk, a kitchen counter, a subway pole. It's only a matter of minutes before the disease dies, the virus dies in the open air. A lot of concern has been raised about our small businesses, many of which are really hurting right now, are seeing fewer customers. I'm going to just tell people, we're going to give you guidance every single day. We'll update it. I am still going out to small businesses. I am saying to my fellow New Yorkers, unless you have particular vulnerabilities or you have symptoms, I believe you can go about your life, continue to patronize our small businesses, and I urge you to.
As the mayor spoke, we've spent the last several weeks preparing all of our facilities so that if there is an influx of tens of patients, if there's an influx of hundreds of patients, we are prepared to do that. The way that you do it is by having protocols that first look at who is in the hospital. We have enough supplies and we have access to those supplies. We watch them every day. I participate in a call about face masks, about antibiotics, about fluids, and we are prepared if this pandemic gets much worse in New York City.
Have you spoken to President Trump or Vice President Pence, who is leading the coronavirus response?
No, our team has been in touch with federal officials. We've continued to make clear, we obviously have a lot of capacity to deal with the situation. We're working very closely with the state. That's the crucial partner here. What we need from the federal government is very straightforward, and it's been the case for weeks and weeks. We need help with the testing. If they will take care of that part of the equation, we can take care of our share for sure. A lot of what we're getting out there from the guidance is based on other places, And I assure you the dynamics in a China, an Italy, a South Korea are different than here. But also a lot of it is theoretical, it's academic research, et cetera. This is the real world, frontline, New York City, no place like it on earth. And our public health officials are getting real world information about how things are playing out here. We're talking about it every single day and making adjustments. But the other thing we talked about is the supply of masks. And now I think hand sanitizer is another great example. This is where the federal government needs to step up. They can ensure that the supply that's available in the country is appropriately distributed to where the need is greatest. I think pure math tells us we're one of the places that needs help compared to a lot of other places in the country that, thank God, don't have cases. So I'd like to see the federal government step up, help us get the masks we need, help us get the hand sanitizer we need. Those are simple steps. And if they would do those things and just stay out of the way otherwise, we would be able to handle this situation.